everyone, and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron, and for today's video, we're headed to the world of Last Epoch. Senior developer, co-founder of VHG, Mike held his normal Friday Q&A live stream on Twitch, which means I get to bring you Dev Chat 171. As always, Mike answered lots of great questions from the community, and surprisingly gave us a couple Season 3 teasers. Some stuff to chew on, which was awesome. And we're going to jump into it in 1 second. First, huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, the Crimson Market. Now, if you don't know about the Crimson Market, it's kind of a modern day gaming club. And the coolest thing about them is they give away a custom, and I mean truly custom, PC every single month. And yes, the PC that you see on screen right now is real. It is the coolest computer they have ever made. It is their second generation Last Epoch PC. It is rocking a 5080. It is so unbelievably cool. Yeah, I just had to show this off. Very cool sponsorship. If you haven't joined the Crimson Market yet, you can join get the golden ticket to enter with a free 30-day royal tier, and you get double the loyalty points on entry, starting with 14 loyalty points. To check out the Crimson Market, it is the first link in the description, and thank you for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's jump into the first question, and this is around Merchants Guild Price Checker.
To the Merchants Guild to make it easier to check prices and so on. Yeah, getting a price check in the price check tool is on the list. It's something we've wanted to add in since day one of the Merchants Guild. It's not a trivial thing to do. One of the big problems about having a price check tool is that if it's off, it can cause it causes problems, and the people that it causes problems for specifically are new players, because if someone has like a price check tool and they price check something and it's like, oh, this is worthless, or this is, you know, just it's not really worth selling type thing, you can quite often have people who just throw away gear that they could make a lot of money off of if the price check tool is not functioning properly, or start listing things way too high if the price check tool is not functioning properly a different way. So it's one of those things that we do want to do it, and I think it has the potential to do more harm than good if it got LP on that, nice, if it has issues. So we're cautious about it. We want to make sure if we do release one that it is rock solid.
Believe it or not, a player-driven economy that has an auction house and an awesome price check tool is actually Torchlight Infinite. Pulls up all the current listings. You can see the average, and you can list items directly from the tool. They should look at that for a reference. Now let's talk Harbinger Needles.
Any plans for making Harbinger Needles stackable? Maybe give them their own idle slot in the middle. We've talked about that. I think this is again one of those things of it's kind of nice having it take up a slot in your actual idols, like you're giving up a little bit of extra power in order to advance things faster, but because you've given up that little bit of power to advance things faster, it also it like proves that you're ready for faster advancement a little bit faster. That makes any sense? I do think there's a lot of potential for, so the idle layout grid.
He then pauses for a while, but ultimately what he's saying is there's a lot of advancement for basically changing idle layouts. It's been kind of teased for a while that maybe every season the shape changes. So maybe it's a square or a circle or a triangle, so that it kind of shifts builds based upon the idle configuration. So I think that's smart. I am totally fine with needles taking up a slot in your idols. I don't think that's a big deal. You just switch them in or out, but make them stackable. This little key tab right here, just put one where all your needles go there, and you could draw from them instead of having to keep them in your inventory, please. I feel almost positive they are going to change this. Everybody is asking for it. It gets requested over and over again. Objectives getting confused with tombs and cemeteries.
And we please get a map icon for tombs that is different from the flashing, different to the flashing circle for echo objectives. I've seen this one a few times in the last couple days. Yeah, it gets me too sometimes. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I feel like just like a different color, even like it doesn't have to be huge. But yeah, having it be the same is a little confusing. I agree. It's also a little unclear. Sometimes the objective can be inside, and you're not quite sure if it's like just pointing you at the tomb or pointing you inside the tomb.
I agree on this one. There should be a small change. Teaser 1 is some new data.
Here are the total number of kills by mastery of Uber Aberoth. And this is the total number of kills by mastery for everything. So this is across hardcore, softcore, solo account found, solo character found, seasonal, legacy. This is just everything. Every single character that has killed Uber Aberoth in the game since it came out. This is all of those kills right there. Minna, thank you very much for the raiding party. Welcome everyone who's coming from there. Glad to have you here. Hello.
Look at that Void Knight, 2157. So you basically got Void Knight, Falconer, and Paladin are the main three, and then you got this huge drop off. You got Beastmaster up there. You probably know this is this snapshotted Stormcrow build. You got some Necromancer. This is probably snapshotted Abomination, and then the rest down here are just a little bit on the struggle bus for sure. Now, speaking of snapshotting, today is day 17 of my subathon, and thank you to everybody for the support. But we have played a lot of minion builds. We have played Golemmancer. We have played Sabertooth, Lightning Retaliation Wolves, Squirrels, Spirit Wolves. We have played Summon Bear. We've played Raptor Pack. We've played Scorpion, and like over and over and over and over again, people like, oh, how do you snapshot this build? Are you snapshotting? And I have to keep saying over and over again, no, you will never see a snapshotted build on my website, actionrpg.com, or on any of my build guides. And the reason for this is that EHG is, one, actively trying to remove it. It is not bannable, it is not considered cheating, but it is an unintended interaction that they are actively trying to get rid of. Believe it or not, you're not supposed to be able to use two sets of gear at the exact same time. So I'm never going to promote that, and I'm never going to push it as a in-game mechanic. There's been a lot of gaslighting recently saying, no, this is intended. No, this is put in the game to bring minions up because minions aren't good enough, and EHG wants it in the game. And I keep having to correct people over and over again. No, they are actively trying to get rid of it. They've already put in tech for the Falconer that stops it from being snapshotted, and they're working on other techniques. This question was asked to senior developer, co-founder of EHG, Mike. Here is his answer.
Loving the season. Was wondering if you guys are planning any changes to snapshotting in regards to minions. Yes, we are planning to make changes to snapshotting with regards to minions. It's kind of a weird thing. It's not something that I would consider a bug because it's working exactly as we expected to. It's sort of in this category of unfortunate side effect of not having the ability to stop it at the moment. We've been sort of doing little things to help it for quite a while now. Like when you transition a zone, it resets the snapshotting. And then Falconer came along and we tried a whole bunch of new things for testing ways to fix snapshotting. For example, one thing you may have noticed, may or may not have noticed, when you have your Falcon and you use an ability like a Featherstorm, and it's like it's there, you can see it, it's like shooting all the feathers down in a big circle. If you look at the minimap, the icon disappears for it in that time because it's not actually your Falcon there. The Falcon doing Featherstorm is just VFX. It's not the actual Falcon pet game object, which the minimap icon's associated with. So you can see when we are resetting the Falcon snapshotting by looking at the minimap icon. We do it a few other times too, but that's one of the times we do it. Anytime the Falcon disappears, basically anytime the Falcon like flies up into the sky and just disappears off camera for a second, and it's just normal attack patterns, we like reset it then too. And so we're looking at other ways to do this with pets that don't have the advantage of being immortal and literally vanishing off screen and still being acceptable that they vanished off screen. But yes, snapshotting with minions is an important thing that we want to deal with. And it's less of the fact that it's like it's less of it being like, hey, this is an overpowered thing, we need to fix the overpowered thing. It's more of a, hey, this isn't not really a fun mechanic because it's tedious and boring, and you have to pull items on and off your gear as you're like going into new zones and new fights, and it's not a fun mechanic. It's not a fun thing to do in the game. It's tedious and it feels weird, and it's clearly not part of the way like you're supposed to play. And then you get all these questions of bugs and is it cheating or not? It's not cheating. It is using an unintended game mechanic. So I'd encourage you not to use it.
Using an unintended game mechanic, I encourage you not to use it. Teaser number 3 and our first season 3 teaser.
And it's vague and no one knows what it means. But here's a season 3 teaser. It's an early concept art of something. Pew, pew, pew. All right, when are we getting fire version of Mana Strike for Spellblade? Flame rebuild. Offline status in social when? Like, okay, if you're in like full offline. Oh, like I see what you're saying. Being able to like go into your social menu and be like appear offline. Yeah, that was like.
We were all guessing what these are. I already asked the HG, they won't tell me. Not that if they told me I could tell you, but either way, I don't know what they are. If it was just a shot in the dark, we know that they have been working on skill sigils. This is going to be a way where you can put something into a skill and it actually changes what it does. That's my guess. I have no idea. My guess is that you take the feather and you put the feather skill sigil in the tree and it does something. And then this is a necro one. Maybe this is a bleed or primalist one. That's my guess. I have absolutely no idea. Teaser number 4, and it's a season 3 teaser.
Not bad. Okay. Here it is. This is the actual exciting one. Unique icon for prophecies, please. Currently, a lot of them use the same ones. Main offender is armor versus body armor. Yeah, that one's bad. I agree. We need new ones there. Cemetery monsters feels like jumping 100 corruption inside the cemetery. Is monster health in there intentionally way harder than normal monsters? Yeah, I think it's important, but not like it is intentionally harder, but not maybe it's too much. I don't know.
It is harder. I don't know about 100 corruption. Okay. Obviously, what you have here is 4 eggs. So initially, when we were watching this, maybe the Nemesis is getting an update. So, you know, right now you've got the egg and you could replace it with a non-LP unique and you have a chance to turn it into a legendary. Maybe Nemesis is getting an update and we're going to have different eggs that are slotted into it. I don't know. That's what a lot of people are saying. When I look at this, I see lots of dragon. You got wings here. You got spikes. You got a claw. This makes me think of dragons. And they talked about the hunts that are coming up. It was on the previous roadmap. And they had dragons in the ancient era. So I'm thinking maybe the primordial hunts that you are going to be doing is you'll be hunting dragons to find their eggs. I have actually no idea, but my guess is that these 4 have to do with the primordial hunts that they talked about that was supposed to come to season 2 that now got pushed back. All right, everybody, unfortunately, we've come to the final question for Dev Chat 171, and this is around Lich and maybe some changes that are coming to the future. Mike, as always, thank you for your Friday live streams. The community truly appreciates it. Please don't ever change. And again, huge shout out to everybody that has supported the subathon. Today is day 17. So if you have any questions, if you want to come hang out or just check out the event, I am live all day, every day on Air and Action RPG on Twitch. Please check out the new website, Action RPG. It works on your phone and on your browser. Over 37 updated last Epoch builds. And please like, share, and subscribe if you think I have earned it. We are so close. We are approaching 100,000 subs on YouTube. We're about 1,600 away. So if you want to help us hit our goal for the year, I would really appreciate it. I'm done. Mike, take it away.
Are there any plans to make Reaper form for Lich behave more like a Druid transformation? By that I mean replacing all of your skills with a new one. No, this is there are no plans for this. It's not to say we're completely forever against it or something like that, but this is one of those things where we try really hard to give, like, class identity is a really big pillar of our game design philosophies, and I think that, you know, we spend a lot of time trying to make sure that each mastery has a feel and a vibe and mechanical difference and all these things that like make it unique and make it where you can really tell like what you're playing. And Acolyte and Primalist have so much overlap. And so this is one of those things, like, it's little things like the elemental spells that Primalist has compared to Mage are focused around weather and nature, whereas the Mage ones are generally focused more around the player creating these things from like arcane magics. Meteor being the shout out example of not that. Which Meteor being on Primalist or Mage was a debate that raged for months. And it's just too iconic to not be on Mage, I think, was the final factor there. But remember that for the future. And it's not being taken off Mage, don't worry, but just, you know, remember that. Anyways, so like Acolyte and Primalist are the two primary minion and shapeshifting classes. So keeping their functionality interesting and unique and feeling different is really important. So we do really try to make sure that when they do share a mechanic like that, that their mechanics are distinct as well. So the Druid shapeshifting has thanks Wick. Druid shapeshifting has the specific, like, all your ability bar gets replaced completely and your mana gets replaced with rage, and the you know, like that's one way. And then Lich, it's that just one ability gets replaced and you can't die, but you're always draining health. And these, like, we try really hard to build the feel of the class into these mechanics and have them really play differently as well. And so I think trying to make one of them more like the other is pretty unlikely. I could see something like that maybe happening in an item or something like that. Maybe like you transform and the first ability slot in your bar gets changed as well because you're holding this item or something like that. That would be cool. Or like when you transform, like the item changes what reap is. So you don't, reap doesn't go in your bar, but something else goes in your bar instead of reap. I like that. But yeah, so there's, I think there's room for new things happening here, but trying to specifically make Reaper form more like Bear form or whatever is unlikely.